around. I'm Holly McFarland. I'm with East Texas Communities Foundation. I do our PR work. Anything communications wise comes out of my workstation, and so does East Texas Giving Day. So I'm going to get you started by talking a little bit about ETCF and what we do, and then we'll talk about East Texas Giving Day. Now, also keep in mind, this is a very high level presentation. It's going to talk about the mechanics of the event, but not the individual pieces of the event. So there's other videos that are available on easttexasgivingday.org under the Nonprofit Resources tab that will actually give you more meats and potatoes to the event. And of course, I'm always available. You can call me anytime. There's food. Y'all can help yourselves. Take your time. Okay. So let's see if this thing will click. Okay, we may just have to do it this way. Let's see. Okay, ETCF was founded in 1989, and in those 30 years, hang on, the clicker is not clicking. We've brought in 197 million in contributions, granted out about 126 million. Currently, because our market is not favorable right now in the stock market, we're about 106 million currently under asset, which is divided between about 427 funds, and we'll talk about what that means in a minute. But about 84 million of it is endowed, which means it will be here forever and always, which East Texas Giving Day is like a program that we run. The other 364 days of the year, we really work hard to create endowed funds. That's really what we want, is money to stay around forever to help nonprofits. We are a nonprofit corporation, 501c3, just like you guys. Let's see, there it goes. Okay. We serve 32 counties helping individuals and nonprofits. We administer charitable funds. So you guys are frontline agencies, saving puppies, helping kids, helping families do better. We are kind of the back end of that, and we do administrative work. We have those 5 fund types. So the first one that we offer is a donor advised fund. It's like a charitable checking account for someone who has resources at their disposal. So anyone can come to you and give a cash gift or write a check. People who come to us and create donor advised funds have big somethings. So an example is we've received a Ferrari. Last year, a windmill farm. We've received tracts of like 1,500 plus acres of pine trees. So people come to us with appreciated assets. We convert that into a charitable cash, and then that's where they do their charitable giving. They can give to you as a nonprofit. They can give to a school. They can give to churches. It's anything that's charitable, then that individual can support using their donor advised fund. If you don't know what donor advised funds are and you want more information, I'd love to talk to you later about it. While we help those individuals, we are not their gatekeepers. It's still personal relationships. They can advise your organization to receive money. They can make a charitable grant to your organization. So it's still 101 fundraising from from very beginning stages. But donor advised funds, just know if you hear DAF, donor advised fund, that's good stuff. If somebody's got that in their warehouse, in their tool as a giver, then that means they have cash that can only be given to 501c3s. Okay. Nonprofit funds are usually created by you, the charity. The nonprofit fund benefits one agency. It can be endowed, but it doesn't have to be. So instead of putting money into a CD, you can put it into a nonprofit fund and it have a little bit of market exposure, and it has the possibility to increase. So while CDs are just, I think right now they're yielding like 4%, typically in a normal stock market year, you're looking at 6% or more. So it just gives you a little bit more opportunity to grow your resources. Scholarship funds, pretty self-explanatory. I think we all know what scholarship funds. I went through college on scholarship funds. Right now it's scholarship season at ETCF. If you have a high school senior in your life, I encourage you to take them to etcf.org before March 1st and have them start the application process. We have about 100 scholarships that we give away every year. And right now there's about $750,000 that will be given away by the spring. So there's lots of stuff out there. They need to go and apply. And a lot of ours are not need-based. They're just, you have to basically, a lot of them just go to school in one of the 32 counties that we serve. Designated funds, it's kind of the catch-all. Designated funds can benefit a single charity or multiple. They can be geographically partitioned off, or they can be for a particular field of interest, like say nursing or music. So we have several of those. A good example of the field of interest that's geographically based is there was a little lady in Athens, Texas, Henderson County, and she had a business, her and her husband, and whenever he passed away, she thought, oh my goodness, I want all of the good stuff that we've been doing in this community to continue even after I die, because she had no children. So she created a fund at ETCF so that her entire estate went into it, and then we converted that into charitable cash. It goes into this field of interest fund, and every year we take grant applications from Henderson County nonprofits. So each year that particular fund grants a little over $100,000 to nonprofits in that community. It only grants to nonprofits in Henderson County. We have one of those in Center, Texas, Shelby County. We have one of those in Rusk, Texas. Let's see, what is that? What is Rusk? No, not Rusk, Texas. I'm sorry. It's Rusk County, Henderson, Texas. It's too many Hendersons. Okay. And the unrestricted fund. The unrestricted fund is the golden goose. We do not have a large unrestricted fund, but what we do have at ETCF, we use for prizes for East Texas Giving Day. Okay, so our mission. Philanthropy builds community and changes lives. ETCF supports philanthropy by offering simple ways for donors to achieve their charitable goals. And we do that by motivating people and organizations to increase philanthropy. We educate donors, advisors, and nonprofits on giving strategies. And a very simple platform that we use is easttexasgivingday.org. It allows anyone in the community to be a philanthropist. Okay, so about East Texas Giving Day. It's a regional online giving campaign that happens at easttexasgivingday.org. Everything that you need to do from this point on is easttexasgivingday.org. Everything starts there. All your resources and stuff are on that website. The event is Tuesday, April 25th from 6 to midnight. If you ever wonder why that date flops around, it's because it's the last Tuesday in April. It will always be the last Tuesday in April. It builds community between nonprofits, your boards, donors, volunteers, and media. It also raises awareness of what's going on here. I hear every year from donors, I didn't know there was this many nonprofits, and I didn't know there was this much going on need-wise. So it really does make the world aware. And it capitalizes on a unified message promoting nonprofits. So if we do everything right, the media should be talking about it that day. We should be talking about it that day. There's just everyone's voices are using that one megaphone to streamline conversations, and it kind of clears the mud from the water, so people understand what we are all trying to talk about. And again, anyone can be a philanthropist. So I like to recap. So let's talk about from the beginning. In 2016, when we started, it was a little less than $500,000. We have grown progressively over that time frame to last year, where we raised $2.9 million. So that $2.9 million was raised by almost 300 nonprofits. 2.9 million, 296 nonprofits in the 32 counties. One of the key stats that we have continued to see, this ranges from 29 to about 35% on any over the since 2016. But 32% of donors have indicated they were first-time donors. So all of you know that donor acquisition is a very expensive, very tough thing to do. This is a low entry point purchase for nonprofits to get into something that can bring new people to your organization. 112 charities had matching funds, which raised about 1.6 million. I won't go deep into matching funds during this presentation because there's a whole webinar out there for you to watch, but just know that there's a recurring theme you'll hear: match funds are important. Almost half the money raised last year was through people, organizations that had matching funds. So last year we had some overachievers. The top 3 organizations were Mentoring Alliance, which is like our Boys and Girls Club in Smith County. They raised a little over $100,000 and had a $50,000 match. The Breckenridge Village helps disabled children, like adults, have a place. It's like a retirement home, so to speak, for families that have children that are I can't think. Anyway, so they had $126,000 with a $50,000 match. And the biggie was Northeast Texas Community College which is a very small junior college up near Mount Pleasant. It's out in the middle of nowhere. They raised over $135,000, and they only had a $7,500 match. So you can tell the match is helpful, but it's not critical to your success. So here's some show-offs locally. So most number of donations overall were our friends at Pregnancy Help Center of Lufkin, and most first-time donors were 144 at Good Shepherd, which is a little small, very small actually, Christian school in Tyler. Okay, so I like to know about the donors because I like to know how to market to people. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of stats about who gives on the platform. So 37% of the donors said they learned about East Texas Giving Day through Facebook. Now, when I continue with these stats, you'll see why. I'm a one-trick wonder. I only try to focus on one social media and try to do it, you know, that's where I put all my attention. I don't do well whenever I think about Instagram and Twitter and all the others. I just know that I'm one person and I need to pick something that I think will hit the most broadest spectrum of individuals. So when I do any marketing for East Texas Giving Day, it's going to be on Facebook. Now, if you have a tiki-talkie following, or if you have, you know, if you're Snapchatty people, then do it. If that's your platform where you're going to get the most bang for your buck, do it. Just FYI, I'm using Facebook. Okay, 63% of the individuals that came to Giving Day, did it using a smartphone. So the world is going from this to their palm of their hand. And a lot of the times they're making, I know I do this, I'm checking emails and stuff at red lights, right? So they're looking at East Texas Giving Day, like at a red light at the palm of their hand, right? Or they're sitting, you know, picking up their kids at the school line and they're looking at East Texas Giving Day on the palm of their hand. When you're doing marketing in the future, think about what's it going to look like on a phone? How is it easiest for someone to open that email, click donate now, and make a donation? And that's not just East Texas Giving Day. That is giving from this point on in our lives, because everyone's doing everything from the palm of their hand. Heck, I can even do stuff from my watch, which is ridiculous. But anyway, okay. And 40% of donors learned from East Texas Giving Day from the nonprofits, which is awesome. But I will also say that an individual told me the other day that means 60% of people didn't hear from you. So there's a lot of people out there that you haven't touched. Tell people, the more you market, the better off your organization is going to be for Giving Day. Okay, women are your target. Over the age of 45. She may look like me. These women move the world. Beyonce's right. Okay, we are the ones feeling the tug at our heart whenever we see imagery. We are the ones that are going to be supporting our communities. Men, yes, they give. There's no rule. There's nothing that says they don't. But think about images in your marketing that are going to be attractive to women, and what's going to compel them to push the donate button. Okay, 77% of donors said they gave a donation they would not have normally given. That's the key factor that you nonprofits should be cluing into. This doesn't have to be their $1,000 a year gift, right? East Texas Giving Day is meant to be, I'm giving you something, I'm raising my hat and saying, yes, you are a great organization and I love you. This should not be your big fundraiser for the year. But East Texas Giving Day is an opportunity for you to expand your circle. So just know donors are going to come to the site and they're going to give. It may not be their biggie, but they are giving a gift they would not have normally given. So you're getting just a little something extra from your supporters. And another key thing is, if you do nothing else other than go back to the people that gave to you last year and say, would you support us again? 99% of them will. This stat has not changed since 2016. Every year after East Texas Giving Day, I send an email out to participants, donors, and ask them to fill out a survey. That stat has been the same since day one. People like the event and they are willing to support you if you ask. Okay, 41% of donors reported that they supported an organization that they had never supported before. I am that person as well. I use East Texas Giving Day as an opportunity for me to find and support things that I would normally not support. I am not a supporter of the Tyler Museum of Art, but last year on Giving Day I did. And I have an example at the end that talks about their campaign and you'll see why I supported them. But that's not something on my normal radar. I mean, you know, I like education, I like community, you know, I like certain things. art, I mean, I love art. It's just not on my radar. But people come to the site. They may find ABC organization that they give to all the time, but they're going to peruse around and they may find you. So think about that as you're creating your profile page. So this guy, he said, it's a very convenient giving platform. It was nice to have lots of charities to choose from and descriptions of their purpose and mission. And that's it. It's like a shopping center. So that's part of the fun of going, because you have all these different options of nonprofits across multiple counties that it's kind of interesting to see what all's out there. So more than 45% of donors gave gifts to more than one charity in a single transaction. So that's the Amazonification of giving. People came to the site and they start shopping, and they start loading a shopping cart with all the different causes and things that they liked. The most in a single transaction of nonprofits that someone checked out and paid for were 25. So now those may have been $10 gifts. I don't know what their dollar amount was, and it doesn't matter. But 25, they loaded 25 different things in their bucket and checked out. 31% of donors participated in the early giving window. So sometimes I get flack from nonprofits that say, well, why do you open the site early? If it's 18 hours, just do it the day of. Well, because we are instant gratification people. And once you start marketing this thing, and like in April, when I start running ads on TV and stuff, people want to go to the site. I don't want to stop them from giving. The whole point of this is to raise money. So I'm not going to put a barrier in front of the donor that wants to give. And a third of the donors said they gave in that early window. Starting April 3rd. Yep. 9% of donors said they gave it multiple times during the event. I think that's going to continue to grow. I know I'm one of the individuals. I gave an early giving. I gave early on the morning of giving day and in the evening of giving day. You know, like I said, none of my gifts are moving the needle, right? I mean, I'm giving small gifts, but I did give it multiple times throughout the event. Okay, this is your match matters slide. 50% of donors said they gave because a match was available. Now, you need to also know that match, once the site goes live, your match, if you have a $100 match and you get 4 donations of $25, your match will be gone before giving opens, the day of. But success is yours. You've already met your match, So just know that the mechanics of the site will start eating up your match once you start getting donations, but it is a motivator for people to come to your site and give. Okay, 70% of nonprofits that had a match met their full match. So your match, again, there's a webinar out there that I encourage you to watch. You can call me if you have questions after that. Your matches don't have to be anything extraordinary. They don't have to be, they could be $1,000, they could be $100. It's whatever your organization can pull together. But they are helpful and they will get you over the fundraising hump. Okay, so for the nonprofits, who can participate? You have to be a 501c3 in good standing. You have to be located in or primarily serve one of those 32 counties, which if you're here in Angelina County, you're doing that. You have to pay a registration fee. I use that registration fee to buy the ads across the 32 counties. And before we leave, if you have, we have a great partnership with KTRE, the ABC affiliate here. So I already have that nailed down. But if you have another suggestion for a media partner here in town, let me know. I will be happy to reach out to them. I've ran ads with the country station, the Town Square 105.1. I've run ads with them, and I can't remember if I did it on their rock station or not. I have to go back and look. I just know I did it on country. But if you know of something else that I should be doing, I want to know about it, because y'all know this community and where people are actually getting their content from. KSWP, is that you guys? I don't know if we have or not. Do y'all take actually ads? Y'all are Christian, right? Okay, well, let's talk when we're done. Okay, because we do that in Tyler with KVNE, the Christian station in Tyler. So let's talk whenever we're done. Okay, yeah, let's talk then when we're done. Registration fee this year is $100 flat. There is no rate increase. We've done it in the past where there's been a slight rate increase to $125 in March. as a late fee penalty. We're not doing that anymore. Register before March 31st and put your hat in the ring and say you're going to be a contender. Okay. So don't drag your feet. I am already working with local media outlets promoting East Texas Giving Day. We've been doing it now for 8 years. They already know what to expect. Our local NBC affiliate, y'all get KETK and their midday show down here too. So KETK loves this event. They embrace East Texas Giving Day and they give us a lot of time. Last year, they did 100 interviews with nonprofits. And on Giving Day itself, they give us their full hour of their midday show. Then they skip an hour between 12 and 1. And then they came back and they do another hour from 1 to 2, where they take normal programming off and do us. So you can't buy that kind of coverage. And they've already been asking. I send that chick every Friday a list of registered nonprofits and your contact information. Then they sit down with their team and they start going through and talking about who they want to interview and what they want to, where they want to do live shots and stuff. They're already planning. She has been calling me since before Christmas. So just know that they are invested in this event. Okay, so to register, you go to easttexasgivingday.org, click the registration button, and if you're a new nonprofit, one of the questions is, has your organization participated before? You say yes or no, like, yes, my organization has participated previously, or no, we have not. Now, that doesn't mean like you're new to the nonprofit, right? And you don't know if your organization has participated before. Ask around. It means if your organization has never participated before, that's whenever you click that button. You'll complete this little application. It's got like 9, 10 questions. It's mostly like your EIN and your physical address and website contact information. That way we can vet you. We can't make a grant to you at the end of this if you're not a 501c3. So our team back in the office is vetting to make sure that you meet all the qualifications. If you are a returning nonprofit, you'll go up in the upper right-hand corner, hit login, nonprofit. This window will pop up. You will you'll click login, you'll put in your email and your password. If you have forgotten your password, there's a password reset button down there. Put in your email that you think you used last year, and it will help you. It'll send an email to that email and help you you'll just follow the prompts from that email. Make sure you check your spam folder. This is an automated system, and a lot of it goes to junk. So just know that. Even if you get an approval, or I don't know if you're later on giving, when giving opens, you'll get an email that says a donation has been made to your organization. I'm not certain if those will go to your spam, but it's an automated system. All those automated emails have a tendency to go to spam. So just be aware of that as this process goes through. Okay, so once you're on the platform, announcements are on the left and a video on how to fix your profile. Watch the video. If you watch the video and still have questions, I'm here for you. But we tried to, there's 300 nonprofits usually participating. There's only one of me. Help a sister out. Okay, watch the video. I've tried to get ahead of you and fix all your questions before you get there, but help a sister out. Okay. On the right-hand side are milestones and trainings like this. If you clicked one of those green tabs, it would take you to a link where you could have registered for this training. Okay. To access your actual profile that the world sees, you have to click My Public Profile. Y'all, I didn't design this platform. I would have named these things totally different. But for now, we're stuck with what we've got. Okay. After you log in and you pay, all nonprofits need to update profiles before submitting for approval. There are a handful of things on there that every year I reset back to nothing, where there's nothing in them, because every year content, people in your organization move around. So the CEO, their name and email have to be updated every year, as well as your match money. So whenever those items are updated, a submit button will populate that's blue. That's what you click to make your profile go live on the website. And again, watch that video. Okay, so you should plan to update your content for your back end, for your landing page you should do that within one sitting. It's because this doesn't have a save feature. So anything that's required field has to be filled in. So you can trick the system by putting in zeros or AAA, BBB, whatever you want in those fields to trick it if you need to stop and then come back, but just go back and fix it. You don't want your address to be AAA on the front end of the website. And then once finished, you have to click that submit button. And as we get closer to April, those that have not clicked submit, you'll start getting a weekly email from me that says, don't forget to submit, don't forget to submit, because every year people never submit. So anyway, just do it, you'll get it. You have until April 21st to change, modify, and upload new photos, whatever you want to do. You have until April 21st. We really try to lock the site down after that. It helps our tech people make duplicates of the site so that we don't have a crash. We don't want our site to crash ever on an electronic event. Okay. You want to tell your donors to give at easttexasgivingday.org. The leaderboards, once giving starts, will start tracking gifts by organizations, number of donations, volunteer hours, all that kind of jazz. The gamification on the day of is what makes Giving Day a lot of fun. The smallest donation is $10, but there is no max. And tax receipts are sent automatically to the donor. So you don't have to send tax receipts. That's taken care of. You have to send thank you notes. And if you want to learn about donor stewardship training, there is a video on easttexasgivingday.org that will take you through some tried and true and some best practices from your comrades who have had success with their donor stewardship. You can view in real time as donations are coming to your site. So that's a really cool part of the platform. And organizations will receive their donations within 6 to 8 weeks by automatic deposit. Now, this part makes people usually go, oh, okay. So I want to explain how can we give ourselves a 6 to 8 week window after East Texas Giving Day. So East Texas Giving Day ends at midnight, but I don't go home at midnight. I usually go home around 2, 3 in the morning, and then I'm back up there at 8. Because the next day we do a lot of media interviews, and there's a lot of weird donation issues. It never fails. The first 2 weeks after Giving Day, weird stuff has happened. Good examples from last year. A lady called and said, oh my gosh, I gave $1,000 and I didn't mean to. I wanted to give 100. Why? Because decimals matter. When you're dealing with money, decimals matter. So the sad thing is I have to change that donation to what the donor wants. Then I have to call you. And it's never a fun call when I have to call you after Giving Day and explain that something's not the way you thought it was going to be. Secondly, a lot of organizations have similar names. CASA. Think of how many CASAs there are across 32 counties. Last year we had a donor who gave a significant gift to a CASA in, let's say Angelina County, but they meant to give it in Cherokee County. I have to then swap that gift and then call both affected nonprofits. It's not a fun call because I feel like I'm letting you down, but I can't control it. Donors are squirrely, but I have to do what the donors asked. Okay. Oh, so that's the first 2 weeks. Then the third week, the dust is kind of settled, and our CFO, we run all of our master reports from the prizes awarded, from the donor advised fund gifts, from the match report. We run all those. He does some sort of spell to make Excel take all that in, and then he formulates it all and does fees and all that kind of stuff, and it's this massive spreadsheet, and that takes a couple of days. And then me and one of my coworkers, we look at that to make sure that everything, like we pick out like a organization, like a handful, and we do math to make sure that all those formulas on the spreadsheet were correct. By week 4 is when we get the money out of the office. We've done that the past 2 years, but we give ourselves a little extra time. What if one of us gets COVID? There's only 7 people in my office. We give ourselves a little extra time in case there's an issue, but really within 4 weeks, that money is out back to you guys. We don't want it in our office any longer than we have to have it. That's not what its purpose is. Its purpose is for you, but it does take a few minutes for us to evaluate all that. Okay, so ACH is important. If you want to receive your money funds automatically into your bank account. If you participated last year, please confirm that you, oh, no, you didn't. So please confirm that your information is correct, like your routing numbers and all that, nothing's changed. And then just click that little box up there and everything will be groovy. If your information has changed, let's say you switched banks or whatever happened and you put in new information, then that's just more admin we have to do on the back end. No big deal, but if it's been corrected, we want to fix it. Okay. If you want a paper check, we'll do that too. And if you want a paper check and you want to come get it, we will make that happen. Just give me a heads up that you're going to be in Tyler at, whatever day, and I will come and we will make sure you get a check and a photo. Because if you're coming to my office, I'm going to take your picture. Okay. Cash and checks can be entered offline by ETCF. So inevitably, this happens every year. Someone says, we just got a check in the mail for $10,000. That's wonderful. And we do not want you to not have that counted in your leaderboard if you want it to be counted. You just got to report it to me. So cash and check will be entered by our staff offline. I need that information to me by 5 o'clock on April 25th, the day of East Texas Giving Day. Please only send it once. Okay. I will provide you with a spreadsheet that you can use. The spreadsheet is not meant for me to track your donors. The spreadsheet is not meant for me to now have a database of Angelina County donors. I don't care. The spreadsheet is to keep you organized, because if you're going to start reporting mailbox money that you got starting April 3rd, I want you to be able to have a way to keep up with it. That way you're not putting Miss Smith's check 4 times in this as an offline donation when she only gave you once. So I will send that to you guys on April 1st. And again, you don't even have to put the donor's name. You can put the check number. You can put whatever you want. Again, I'm not keeping up with your donors. All I do is if you have 4 $100 donations, we group it, sum it, $400. We enter one $400 on the back end. Those do not get feed. Those do not get anything. They're just a number added to your leaderboard. Okay. They do not count towards prizes, because I don't have a lot of prize money and I need everything in the system to be verifiable. I want to stay as transparent as possible. So if you're reporting that you've got 25, first time donor gifts, I have no way to really, I believe you all, you wouldn't lie to me, but I need to keep it in the system. So offline donations are not, do not count towards prizes. But if you have a match, I most certainly will allow that to go towards your match. Cash and check should be processed and receipted by you. So where a gift comes through the Giving Day portal and a tax receipt is sent out automatically, that does not happen if that check comes to your office. So if the check or cash is delivered to your office at your location, you have to receipt it, you have to thank it, you have to do all the things that you would do on any other day of the year when donations come in. Okay, again, do not include matches in your offline donation report. So if Miss Smith gave you $100 for your match, you've already got that in the Giving Day system. It's already typed in. Do not include it on your spreadsheet or your reporting numbers again. And please only send it to me once. What happens on Giving Day at about 5 o'clock is I get 300 plus emails, all within like a 10-minute period. And it's a lot to keep up with. At the same time that I'm trying to keep Giving Day alive. I'm trying to keep media, I'm trying to keep Facebook going, I'm trying to keep all those different components. So I farm that out to my coworkers, but I need to keep it organized before I farm it out to them. And so help me, again, help you by only sending it to me once. Okay, fees. Fees are another little frowny moment that nonprofits have. This is an online event. Credit cards charge money. If you go to Walmart today, you don't know it, but there's a credit card fee with every transaction that goes through. So for every credit card, every transaction, every donation that goes through, there is a 5.46% transaction fee. Every gift will receive that. 3% of that goes to our technology vendor and 2.46 goes to the credit card. And both of those individuals, both the vendor and the credit card, get their money before any of us. So that's just how it works. We are very transparent that there is a fee. We do not fundraise to cover the fee because we are very adamant about ETCF does not fundraise against our nonprofit partners. So we could come here to Lufkin and talk to all the banks and talk to all the, different businesses and try to get a pool of resources to cover these fees, but that would be less money that you could get. So we just don't do it. And the donors typically understand that there is a fee, and 71% of those donors covered the fee last year. It depends on your organization and your donors. Some organizations last year had like 99% of the fees covered. So it's on an individual nonprofit basis, but again, universally 71% of the donors covered the fees. Okay, so we did, by the way, have a credit card fee increase. It was going to be 5.89%. And so ETCF negotiated with a couple other credit card companies to get it down to that 5.46%. And with that came a new feature. So we can take MasterCard, Visa, Discover, American Express. We can also take checks, e-checks, if someone wants to put in if a donor wants to put in their routing number and all that kind of stuff to do it direct, instead of doing a debit, to do a e-check debit. You can also now pay with Apple Pay and Google Pay. So I am not hip enough to use these products, but some people are. So the whole thing about this is, when you go to Amazon and you go to check out, it automatically knows you and helps you spend your money fast, right? So it's a very bad habit, but I am victim of it. Okay, Apple Pay and Google Pay want to be your friend in spending as well. So at checkout, if you use these two resources of Apple Pay or Google Pay, it will automatically plug in your stuff, however that works, and that credit card, you don't have to enter any credit card information. So it is a cool new feature. I'm anxious to see how it all works. I'm looking forward to knowing the stats on how many people use it. Okay, Giving Day is not meant to be just about financial. It's also, we're trying to increase philanthropy, and that also means volunteerism. So we introduced a feature a couple of years ago for volunteers. And so at checkout, a donor can select at the very bottom of their donation portal, they can say, I'm interested in volunteer opportunities with an organization. So in order for that question to populate, you have to turn it on. And in your donor profile, the very last question on your nonprofit profile, is, would you like to seek volunteers for your organization? It's just a check, opt in, opt out. It's very simple, but that's the only way that question is going to populate on the front end. Last year, over 5,000 volunteer hours were pledged through Giving Day. And this particular donor said, having just retired, I was looking to get involved in the community, and Giving Day gave me that opportunity to explore nonprofits and see where I could get plugged in, basically. So if you have the opportunity for volunteers and you need them, this could be an excellent outlet. One of the tabs that you can complete on your nonprofit portal is volunteer opportunities. So you can, on the front end, tell them, these are, I need 20 volunteers a month to sort cans, or I need, people to come and walk dogs. Whatever your organization needs, you can kind of give them an idea ahead of time. If you watch the donor stewardship training, I go deep into that because I like to volunteer and I like to take my kids with me. And at Bullard ISD, my daughter will have to have 100 volunteer hours before she can graduate. So I don't know if Lufkin does that or not, but they have to have volunteer hours as part of their graduation. So I'm always looking for things that a 15-year-old can do. Now, I don't want her to get too deep in the weeds, like there's a lot of really intense things that nonprofits do, but she can sort cans, she can bag rice, she can do a lot of those little things. So when you get to the donor stewardship training, I talk about, be thinking, if you're going to ask for volunteers, what do you want to do? What do you want them to do? Be thinking of shopping list ideas of like how you can package, these are the opportunities for you to get involved in my organization. So just something to, I'm always thinking like, you're going to ask for something on the front end, but how are you going to manage it on the back end? Like what's the end game for what you're asking for? So be thinking long-term. Okay, another component that we turned on 2 years ago, I think, is peer-to-peer fundraising. They're called nonprofit celebration pages within our platform. It's a way for you to get your fans involved and help you fundraise, right? Because usually there's just one of us, but there's a lot of people in the community that support you. So they're similar to GoFundMe pages or Facebook birthday pages. Donors can create a page in minutes. There's like 6 questions they have to complete. And celebration pages are automatically approved. You don't have to go in and do any administrative things on them. However, I do encourage you to go in and look, because if someone out in the world has created a celebration page on your behalf, but they've used an inappropriate photo, or they've said something that's not the way you would frame it, then you can go in and you can turn those on and off, or it's an opportunity for you to call that individual and say, hey, let's talk about, the photo that you chose, could we use something else that doesn't depict what we were trying to do? So it's just a donor stewardship moment from you for the nonprofits, but they can help you raise money. You will get an email when someone creates one. You will get an email if a donation is received through one. All the money comes into your leaderboard. All the money comes into your nonprofit. It doesn't go to these individuals. Okay, it's a great opportunity for you to get your board to do something. Everyone always says, my board, I can't get them to do anything, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so you can have a little shindig at your office and have your board members come. And keep in mind, not every board member this is a good fit for, right? So I have some board members at my office that are extremely social savvy and have a great following, a great network. I have some, I don't even know how they use their phone. Like I can't even figure out how you have gotten into the world the way you have. But sorry, board, I didn't say that. So anyway, think about who in your board this would be a good candidate for. Do not create the thing for them. They have to do it. Why? Because it's their why. You want them to say why they're involved with you. You don't want to interpret what you think. You might can help them script it, but you want them to do it. It has to be authentic. You want to be able to engage that board circle of influence. And the only way that's going to happen is if they take the time to do it and then they share it. Now, they can share it on social media. They can share it by email. They can share it through texting. So it's not just one platform, one way. They can do it multiple ways. And if you have a competitive board, it's a great way for you to make them go against each other and like say, well, Jimmy's already raised 1,000. Come on, Joe, what have you done? So you can get those creative juices going through these celebration pages. And again, there will be a webinar on EastTexasGivingDay.org where you can learn more about celebration pages. You can take advantage of an opportunity. Okay, this is my donor stewardship slide. This is where you can learn a little bit about people who you may not have even known were your supporters, right? So when they create their celebration pages, you find out who that individual is. So let's say, Joe Smith. But why did Joe create that celebration page? Because he's going to have a story like, I adopted my dog. It's the best dog I've ever had. Penny, my dog is, blah, 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 blah. Well, you learn why Joe and Penny love your organization so. You also learn who Joe's friends are. And if you have a CRM where you can manage this kind of information, if Joe's friend is Maggie and she's on your board, you didn't know that. Maybe you didn't know that. So you can find out and compare those names and see if they've already been a supporter of your organization. And you can find out, you're just connecting dots. I don't know. I like that kind of data. I'm not data driven, but I really do like knowing how all the pieces of the puzzle go together. And this is just something you can do it if you want to or not. Again, I'm a donor stewardship person. I think that if people have taken the time to create a fundraiser on your behalf, perhaps you should invite them to an open house, something to celebrate what they've done. Either you send them a very nice thank you, send them a cookie in the mail, whatever you want to do to reach out to them. But I just think they've gone above and beyond and self-identified as basically a development person for you. They're out fundraising on your behalf. So I think they should be rewarded. Okay, 27% of donors gave to help a nonprofit win a prize. Again, we don't have a lot of prize money, but we work really hard to make it strategic, and we want it to be where an organization of any size can receive some of it. There's a prize list that will be released on March 28th. And prizes, there'll probably be some $100 prizes. I did that last year. $1,000 for the power hours, maybe $2,500. I really have not sat down and pinned prizes. They will be very close to what we had last year, but again, I try to make it where anybody can win them. And they can help you fundraise. So if you think I'm going to invest all my efforts into getting everyone in my community to give between 11 and 12 so I can win $1,000 power hour, then you really focused all of your marketing to that one event. And we'll have a webinar on March 28th where I'll talk about the prizes and prize strategies and what people have done in the past to help win the prizes. Okay, so there are benefits to participating. You capitalize in a moment. It's one 18-hour. Here's the fun thing. It has a start and a finish. And deadlines move people. So knowing that it ends at midnight, people will eventually either get on the bus or get off the bus. So deadlines help. You can reach a broader range of donors by using social media. You can get your board to share. Again, it doesn't have to be on social media. They can share it on text or email. You want them to do outreach for you, and you want to increase your circle of influence. It does level the playing field because everyone that participates pays the same $100. Everyone gets the same opportunities as far as the marketing, because I'm trying to share this with everybody across 32 counties. It doesn't matter if you're big or small. Really, it matters the effort that you put into the event. And you can build that data list. So like I said earlier, you're getting real-time information when a donation comes in. You're going to get the name of the individual, the email, phone number, address. You get a lot of like that email and phone. Let's talk about those for a second. People who have the ability to move do and are not compelled to tell us. But no one changes a cell phone and no one changes their email address, or it's rare when they do. So if your bestest donor leaves you and moves to Colorado for the summer because the weather's better, you can still do outreach because you have a cell phone and you have your email addresses. Here's another thing. If you ever do, this is insider baseball, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. If you have a data list of email addresses and you can pull up a list of that and you can sort them by AOL.com, I can already tell you the age bracket of that donor because they were first adopters of the interwebs back in 1995. So you can segment, depending on what you're trying to do, really by email addresses if you're using like AOL. So anyway, you can have information. East Texas Giving Day will provide you that kind of data that you may not have gotten any other way. Okay. All right. So there is a handbook. It is out there to help you. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, but I've tried to simplify things. You guys are saving the world. I am just trying to get East Texas Giving Day to be successful. So I have created for you guys tips and tricks, checklist, canned emails that you can modify with your own messaging, social media tips, mock calendars. Whoops, let me go back. All of that is on easttexasgivingday.org under nonprofit resources. You can steal, harvest, whatever you want to call it, from any of that content that's out there. It's meant to help you. This is not supposed to be all consuming where, you spend the next month only doing East Texas Giving Day whenever I realize that you have multiple other things that you need to be doing. Okay, so decide if Giving Day is a fit for your organization. I will tell you, it is not for everybody. Giving Day is not for everybody. And if you are listening to this going, this is too much, I can't do it. We don't have an executive director right now. I'm doing everything. My mind's, even coming here has been too much. Don't do it. Don't waste the $100 because, like I said, it's not a good fit for everyone, and it's not for, this may not be your year. Like you may have done it all 5 years up to now. This may not be your year. That's cool too. Okay. Pay your $100 registration fee by March 31st. Create a strategy. And I earnestly mean that. Don't just pay your registration fee and hope for the best. Think about what you want from the event. Do you only want donors that are lapsed to give again? Then you target all your efforts to that. Do you only want board members to give or volunteers to give? There's a medical clinic in Tyler who uses it to target volunteers and their doctors that give the doctors that give up their time. Because a lot of the times the doctors will say, I already give up on my time. I'm not giving financial too. Well, they use Giving Day as an opportunity for them to give a small token. So there are strategies that you should use. If you host an event, which you don't have to, and I encourage you not to, but if you do host something, let me know. Giving Day is supposed to happen online. It does not have to be anything more than that. But if you host something, let me know, because I will share that with our media. Media does like to have places they can put a microphone and talk to people on the day of, if they're doing live remotes. Promote, and when you've thought you've promoted enough, promote some more. Giving Day signs are here. You're welcome to those. I encourage you to take photos of your board, take photos of your clients, take photos of sponsors from other events that you've hosted with the East Texas Giving Day signs. That builds your library, and then on Giving Day, or as we get closer, you can start shooting that information out. I'm always looking to create a library of content of photos. And of course, like ETCF or East Texas Giving Day on Facebook, you can just click and share any of the content that we have already put out there for you. That way you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And this is my theme for the year: be the pig. This is the difference between involvement and commitment, folks. In an egg and ham breakfast, the chicken is involved, but the pig is committed. Be the pig. If you only throw $100 at this event and you never look at it again, you will not be successful. People are not going to just stumble around and find your organization. They have to know why that you are fundraising and what you need. You really need a plan. And I've, every year is somebody that just signs up and never does anything, and then they get kind of upset with me and crabby and want to know why they didn't raise anything. And Kyle, my boss, he'll say, well, you didn't even get your mother to give. If your mother didn't give $20 on the day, come on, your moms love you, So be the pig, get committed to the event. If you're going to do it, help your organization fundraise. Okay, upcoming webinars. All those at the top, you can watch at your leisure. We did Canva today. That one will be uploaded, if all things go right, hopefully later on tonight. We have a presentation that will also be both virtual and in person. It's growing media and corporate partnerships. I encourage you to sign up for that. It's going to be hosted by ABC affiliate in Tyler. And then that prize reveal will happen on March 28th. And again, all of these things can be registered starting at easttexasgivingday.org, and it'll take you to a link to sign up for these. People who attend trainings do 40% better, so good for you. You're going to do better than other people because you've already invested. That's the whole thing. You've already committed. You've already taken time out of your day. You showed up. You're here. You're taking notes. You're going to do better than some other nonprofits. Okay, these are important dates. Registration is currently open. Just get signed up if you haven't before the 31st. Giving Day opens, like the platform where people can start making transactions, on April 3rd. And Giving Day itself ends at midnight on the 25th. Now, I do have opportunity for questions, but I thought I would show you real fast about what my friends at Tyler Museum of Art did last year, so that you have an idea of how campaigns can work for you. They raised over $26,000. They had a $7,500 match, and 91% of their donors paid their fees. Okay, so here's all she did. Once a week, she would send out an email, and she had very clear communications. She said, help us refresh our galleries. She told me when and what Giving Day was, and she told me what she was fundraising for. Literally, these 2 paragraphs are all the email was, which is another thing. If 63% of people are looking at stuff on their phone at a red light, you need digestible information. It needs to be very simple and to the point. So she said their goal was to raise $20,000 to refresh their galleries. Wear and tear on the galleries from the past year, and it just needs rejuvenation. Funds will support painting and adding lighting to the galleries. So for me, very clear ask. I was like, that's cool. I can support that. I may not go to the art museum a lot, but I understand what she's asking for. My $20, I can do that. Okay. She also, even though I've cut it off, there was a donation button down there underneath the blue box that said donate now. Okay. And she only sent these out, I swear, like maybe once a week, like Mondays. I can't remember. I think they were early in the week, which is also very good, folks, to have your email where it's triggered. This is just insider baseball again, to have it where it goes early, because what happens? People have had the weekend and then Monday morning comes around and they've got to get back to work. So that's whenever people are most focused and are looking at their emails, and people see things like this and like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Okay. On Giving Day, she posted on, I don't remember if this was Facebook or Instagram, but she said, we're all smiles, we met our matching goal, which that's pretty cool. I was like, oh, okay, she's done. She's not going to do any more. But she did continue to do more. And then after Giving Day, after they'd met all their magical goals, she posted on social media again. This was them actually painting, which I thought, way to wrap it up with a bow, way to share what you're doing. And she said, thanks for those who supported us on Giving Day. We are refreshing our Bell Gallery, and come see it. Here's our next show. So she moved right into the next thing. She wrapped up Giving Day and moved right on to when the next show was going to be, which I thought that was brilliant. Way to get people on the boat. And then we actually did a best practices with them. We did it through YouTube, or we did a video of them. You can access that on YouTube. You can access it through easttexasgivingday.org nonprofit resources under the best practices tab. But you can watch the whole video where we went in before they redid the galleries and then after they did the galleries. Another example was Christian Homes and Family Services. They help fostering families. They raised $26,000, had an $8,000 and some change match, and 77% of their donors paid their fees. So just a little bit more than the average of 71. Okay. Their campaign was very simple. Chip in for Christian Homes and Family Services during East Texas Giving Day and receive a chocolate chip pie. So their whole gimmick was, if you gave a gift of $100, they were going to hand deliver you a chocolate chip pie. So throughout Giving Day, they showed pictures. So these are the little church ladies at the Church of Christ in Tyler baking the pies. So it helped with their mission. They have all these volunteers. These ladies actually did the work. And the pies are really tasty, by the way. So that was the first one. Then they showed a photo of these sweet little ladies loading up the pies to go out and make the deliveries. And then later on Giving Day, and I think the day after too, they just posted photos of people who'd received them. So it was a very simple campaign. And again, they raised over $26,000. I don't know how many of those were $100 donations, but it gave them content. It gave them something to focus on. Now, another, before we got a few more minutes. Another clear example, there's Longview Dream Center. Longview Dream Center is a food pantry human services organization in Longview, Gregg County. And right before Giving Day, this is before COVID, so right before Giving Day, I think it was in 2019, Shauna, their executive director, their freezer went out. They're a food pantry. Freezers are extremely important to a food pantry. So she said she ditched her entire campaign leading up to Giving Day and started just blowing up Facebook about our freezer went out. I know a new freezer is going to cost me $10,000. I need to fundraise $10,000. So all throughout Giving Day, she talked about this freezer. She knew its hard cost, and it was clear to explain why she needed it. And before Giving Day was over, she'd raised like $13,000. So she had enough money to go out and buy the freezer. And like the next week, whatever, I don't even remember how long it took, she had a picture of her standing next to a freezer showing that she had done it. Okay, that's all well and good. The reason that campaign worked is because it was pinpointed, clear communication about what the need was. So you can say, my organization needs support. Please give us money. But that's very vague, and the world can't wrap their head around it. But if you tell me exactly what it is you need, we are going to put new fencing around the dog kennel area. I need $5,000. People are going to support that because they understand what you want. So think about that as you're moving forward with East Texas Giving Day, how you can really designate the money. Now, I realize that East Texas Giving Day is meant to be unrestricted funding, but if you can really pinpoint what your needs are, it's very helpful. It just, for the donor, it's just very helpful. So now, does anyone have any other questions? Ooh, I like it. Woo! Well, excellent. I'm going to close out this presentation, I think, as soon as I remember how. And then I'll give you guys that are in the room East Texas Giving Day signs.